Here, where the land meets the sea, a city of light rises from the turquoise water. This is Miami, a place of endless summer, of sun-drenched days and velvet nights. The air hangs heavy with the scent of salt and sweet hibiscus flowers. Great glass towers reach for a sky of impossible blue, reflecting the sun like 1,000 scattered diamonds. Below, the famous sands of South Beach stretch out, a ribbon of pale gold, kissed by the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the Atlantic Ocean. It is a spectacle of nature and human ambition, a vision of paradise crafted by both. The sun rises, painting the horizon in strokes of soft peach and fiery orange. The world awakens slowly. A lone sandpiper scurries along the shoreline, its tiny legs a blur against the wet sand, leaving a delicate trail that is quickly erased by the incoming foam. Palm trees, the silent sentinels of this coast, sway in a gentle, hypnotic dance, their fronds rustling like whispered secrets. The waves roll in, a constant soothing percussion. They have been doing so for millennia, shaping this coastline, witnessing the rise and fall of countless generations. This is a landscape of profound and ancient beauty. It is a place that draws people from all corners of the world. They come for the warmth, for the vibrant energy, for the promise of a life lived in the sun. The soundscape is a symphony of joy. You can hear the laughter of children playing in the surf, the murmur of conversations in a dozen different languages, the distant thrum of music from a beachfront cafe. Everything here seems to glow with an almost supernatural luminescence. The water, the sand, the very air itself seems charged with a brilliant, intoxicating light. It is a powerful illusion, a carefully constructed dream, but even in the brightest of lights, shadows must fall. And here, the shadows are long and deep. If you look closely, beyond the dazzling facade, another world begins to reveal itself. It is a world that exists in the periphery, in the spaces between the glamour and the glitter. It is a silent narrative, unfolding just out of sight. A story not of paradise found, but of paradise lost. The gentle breeze that cools the sunbathers carries with it a different kind of story, one of hardship and survival, hidden in plain sight. If you want to uncover more hidden stories and see beyond the surface, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Join us as we reveal the real Miami, one chapter at a time. Venture just a few steps away from the pristine beachfront, beyond the manicured lawns of the luxury hotels. Here, nestled amongst the sea grape bushes and tucked beneath the sweeping concrete arms of a causeway, another community takes root. It is a settlement not of brick and mortar but of nylon canvas and salvaged materials. Tents in shades of faded blue and weathered green form a fragile, sprawling colony. They stand as a stark, silent counterpoint to the glittering skyline that looms just across the water. This is a different kind of habitat, one born of necessity. The morning light filters through the dense foliage, dappling the ground in shifting patterns. Here, the sounds of the city are muffled, replaced by a quieter, more intimate soundtrack. The rustle of a tarp in the wind, the soft murmur of a voice from within a tent, the lonely cry of a gull circling overhead, its sharp eyes scanning the ground below for an opportunity. The air smells different here, a mixture of damp earth, salt spray, and the lingering smoke of a morning fire, used not for leisure, but for warmth and sustenance against the cool ocean air. Life in this hidden encampment unfolds according to its own rhythms, dictated by the sun and the tides. The inhabitants emerge slowly from their shelters, their movements often slow and deliberate. A man carefully folds a worn blanket, his hands weathered by the sun and the wind. A woman stares out at the water, her expression unreadable, her thoughts lost in the vast expanse of the ocean. They are like ghosts haunting the edges of a postcard, present but unseen by the thousands who pass by each day, their eyes fixed on the shimmering horizon. This is a world of contrasts, existing in the very heart of abundance. The roar of a high-performance sports car on the nearby road cuts through the quiet morning, a fleeting reminder of the other Miami, the one of wealth and opulence. Yet, here in the shade of the bridge, that world feels a universe away. The residents of this colony live their lives in the shadow of paradise. Their existence, a quiet testament to the fragility of fortune and the harsh realities that can hide behind even the most beautiful of veils. Within this fragile ecosystem, a silent predator stalks its inhabitants. It does not have claws or teeth. It arrives not with a roar, but with a whisper, a promise of escape, of a momentary peace from a world of constant struggle. It is a fine, white powder, unassuming in its appearance, yet possessing a power that can unravel a life with terrifying speed. This is fentanyl, an opioid so potent, a few grains can be the difference between a fleeting high and a final, irreversible silence. It has found a fertile hunting ground here. Its effects are profound and devastating. You can see it in the eyes of those who have fallen under its spell. A vacant, distant stare that seems to look through you, fixed on a point far beyond the horizon. It slows the body, dulls the mind, and erodes the spirit. A young man, who once might have had dreams as bright as the Miami sun, now sits motionless for hours, his head bowed, a prisoner in his own body. He is lost in a chemical fog, the vibrant world around him reduced to a muted, colorless blur. The rituals of its use are carried out in the shadows, with a quiet, desperate reverence. A small piece of foil, a lighter, a fleeting plume of smoke that carries with it a powerful and deceptive solace. For a few moments, the gnawing hunger, the biting cold, the crushing weight of despair, all seem to vanish. But the relief is a cruel mirage. When it fades, reality rushes back in, more demanding and more desperate than before. The whisper becomes a roar, a relentless craving that eclipses all other needs, all other thoughts. This substance changes the very fabric of this community. It turns neighbors into strangers and trust into suspicion. The quiet camaraderie that once offered a small measure of comfort is fractured by the drug's insidious influence. It isolates individuals, pulling them away from the fragile bonds of human connection and deeper into a solitary world of addiction. The struggle for survival becomes a two-front war, one against the elements, and another, far more personal battle, against the ghost that haunts them from within. Daily life here is a delicate balancing act, a constant negotiation with the environment and the ever-present threat of eviction. Survival is a full-time occupation. The day begins with a search for the most basic of necessities: fresh water, a little food, a safe place to rest without being told to move on. Each sunrise brings with it a fresh set of challenges. A sudden downpour can soak a person's only set of dry clothes and turn their shelter into a damp, muddy prison. The relentless heat of the afternoon can be as dangerous as the cold of the night. The wildlife of the coast becomes both a companion and a competitor. Pelicans glide gracefully overhead, their ancient eyes watching the world below. Ibis, with their long, curved beaks, patrol the edges of the camp, scavenging for any discarded morsel. These creatures are a part of the landscape, a reminder of a wilder, more elemental world that exists alongside the concrete and steel of the city. For some, their presence is a small comfort, a connection to a world that feels more honest and straightforward than the one they have been forced to inhabit. The sensory world is intense and overwhelming. The constant hum of traffic from the causeway is a low, unceasing drone, the mechanical heartbeat of the city. The salty air, while refreshing to a tourist, can be corrosive, slowly eating away at tents, zippers, and any metal possessions. The smell of the low tide reveals the murky, brackish water beneath the bridge, a stark contrast to the pristine blue of the open ocean just a few hundred yards away. Every sense is on high alert, tuned to the subtle shifts and potential dangers of the environment. Moments of peace are fleeting and precious. A man sits on an overturned bucket, carefully mending a tear in his small fishing net, his movements precise and practiced. A woman reads a tattered paperback, the pages softened by humidity, her mind escaping for a short while into another world. These small acts of normalcy, of quiet dignity, are acts of defiance. They are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a refusal to be defined solely by circumstance, and a fight to hold on to a piece of oneself in a world that seems determined to strip everything away. Beneath the visible struggles of life on the street, there are powerful, unseen currents at play. These are the currents of memory, of past lives, of the stories that brought each individual to this very spot. No one begins their journey with the intention of ending up here. Each person is a vessel, carrying a cargo of what-ifs and might-have-beens. A lost job, a family breakdown, a sudden illness, a single wrong turn. These are the invisible shipwrecks that have led them to this shore. The ocean of life can be treacherous, and its storms can leave even the strongest swimmers stranded. The city itself moves around this hidden colony like water flowing around a rock. Commuters rush overhead, their minds on deadlines and appointments, largely oblivious to the lives unfolding beneath them. Tourists snap photographs of the skyline, capturing the beauty of the city while unknowingly cropping out its pain. The gap between these two worlds is immense. A chasm of understanding that seems almost impossible to bridge. It is as if the encampment exists in a different dimension, a parallel reality that occupies the same physical space, but is governed by entirely different laws of survival and despair. There are, however, moments of connection, small eddies in the current where the two worlds briefly touch. A passing local who offers a bottle of cold water on a sweltering day. A volunteer from a local outreach group who knows the residents by name, who stops not just to offer food, but to listen. These encounters are like lifelines thrown into the churning water. They are small, often temporary, but they provide a crucial reminder of a shared humanity. They are flickers of light in the encroaching darkness, proof that compassion has not been entirely extinguished. But these moments are often not enough to turn the tide. The pull of addiction, the weight of trauma, and the sheer exhaustion of daily survival create a powerful undertow. It drags people back, pulling them further from the shore of stability. The struggle is not just against hunger or the elements, but against the crushing force of invisibility. To be seen, to be acknowledged as a human being with a story and a name, becomes one of the most fundamental needs of all, and one of the most difficult to fulfill in the shadow of paradise. Even in this place of profound hardship, where the future seems as uncertain as the shifting sands, the tide of hope has not receded completely. It persists. It is a quiet, stubborn force, as relentless as the waves that crash upon the shore. It is not a grand, optimistic dream of a return to a former life, but something smaller, more immediate. It is the hope for a dry night's sleep, the hope for a warm meal, the hope of making it through one more day, one more hour, without succumbing to despair. This hope manifests in small but significant ways. It is visible in the makeshift garden one man has cultivated in a collection of plastic buckets, where a few resilient tomato plants are reaching for the sun. It is audible in the sound of a shared laugh between two friends, a brief, genuine moment of joy that momentarily pierces the gloom. It is found in the simple act of sweeping the ground in front of one's tent, a small gesture of order and pride in a world of chaos. These are the anchors that hold people fast against the storm. The natural world, in its own stoic way, offers a form of resilience. The sun will rise again tomorrow, just as it did today. The tide will go out, and it will come back in. The pelicans will continue their majestic flight, indifferent to the human dramas playing out below. This eternal, unchanging rhythm of the natural world can be a source of profound comfort. It suggests that life, in all its forms, is programmed to endure. It is a silent promise that even after the darkest night, the light will eventually return. The story of Miami is a story of two cities intertwined and inseparable. One is a city of dazzling light, of dreams realized, of paradise found. The other is a city of deep shadows, of broken dreams, of a paradise that remains cruelly out of reach. The two exist side by side, a testament to the complex and often contradictory nature of human society. And as long as the sun continues to set over the glittering towers and the hidden tents, this quiet, desperate struggle for survival and for hope will continue on the shores of this beautiful, troubled coast.